Here we are, day two, after the terrible day yesterday. And for me, it was a gut punch. I had that Util Green flashback. You know, it was just, you want to see this guy play, and all of a sudden he's down before he's even get to really see him. And I got caught up in the fandom, grabbed some early quotes. It said 6 to 8 weeks. That's at least now, and the reports came out later. I put the podcast out before the rest of the reports came out. So I just want to get that out there. But my fandom is pulled back in. I want to see, I cover this team, and I try to do my best to be a true evaluator and be honest and accurate. But man, I want my team to win so bad. And it's this thing that sometimes you bridle. So yesterday was a fan day. I've pulled myself back in, guys, to do a better job for you. So day 3 practice is what I want to cover here today. And it's trending. These are data points. We've got 3 days of data points, plus for some players, a couple seasons. And so the data points are heading in the direction that I think, but these data points, they can go in different directions as we go. It is very, very early. So I'm going to cover the practice today. I'm going to go over DBs. We've got enough here, guys. And you're, through these practices and what we've seen before, these guys could do their job, Ramsey or no Ramsey. Not saying we're not going to miss them, but I think we got enough. I'll get into that. And then tight ends. I want to cover the tight ends. We have some young guys that were getting people hyped. I'm going to deal with the reports on that. And then the D-line and O-line. Still no pads. And that's critical. Whatever I say here today has got to be held within that. Whether you're on the defense or on the offensive side, you use your pads to execute your skills and your skill sets. And without them, it's not what it's going to be on pad day and contact day in the game. As an example, offensive linemen, a lot of them love to use their heads to get in there and bang. And we're not really seeing that. This is still a glorified flag football event, and you can gauge it, but you got to put those rabbit ears with no pads. So I want to start with the DBs, because a lot of the stuff that the DBs do is translatable. Probably some of the most translatable stuff you're going to get is the coverage skills of the defenders. Not 100%, but I think pretty good. And we're seeing this DB group is good. They've got skills. And yes, Ramsey, man, is just like icing on a cake with 50 cherries and whipped cream on top with sprinkles, but what other team in the league, maybe a couple, but 2 or 3, can say, Jalen Ramsey went down, but we got Xavier Howard, former defensive player of the year, and Kader Kohu, one of the top rookies, filling his shoes, along with Holland over the top, and the second-round pick in Cam Smith. Not many, guys. We've got enough ammo. Defense will be okay. Better with Ramsey, but okay without. So, Barry Jackson, I just want to get this last bit of pathos out of the way, because I thought Barry did a good tweet here. He says, can't get over their bad luck. QB blossoms, and he then has concussion problems. One starting QB, Byron, misses season after routine surgery that was to have him back by July. Star pickup Ramsey out for months, forced to their third string QB in playoff games. It never ends. But that's life. People in the comments, I said that in my last podcast. It is what it is. No one's crying for you. You just got to step up and fill in. And a guy I talk to all the time, opportunities come when guys go down. We got guys that are capable. So I just want to get that last bit of pathos out of the way. Daniel Oyefusi. Oh, man, bad with those names. It was a good day for young Cam Smith and Kader Kohu. A lot of would-be sacks were the result of coverage sacks. I think Kader Kohu is I won't go special, but very good. And Cam Smith, he's figuring out he got beat for a bomb, but this is all stuff. And the reports you're getting is that it's not over his head. He intellectually gets it. And if he's in a scheme that is about being smart and getting it intellectually, he's got the physical skill set and tools to then be good and be a piece of the puzzle soon. And this year, we hope. We'll see. But these are good data points for us. Now, we're working with Howard, Kohu, Smith, Ignabony. Took me about 4 years to get that guy's name down. Bethel, Williams, Trill Williams, who's making his way back. So that's what we're working with. But Cater and Howard both were grievously injured. They start healthy with Cam Smith. That's good. It's a quad, and then Holland over the top. And then Needham coming back eventually. We got it, guys. I mean, it could be better, but we will have the tools to do what we need to do. Fangio's never had Ramsey and Howard and Kohu and Holland. His secondaries weren't like that. He's had some good secondaries, but not like that. He can make this work. Now, Brandon Jones and Trill Williams, they're working their way back. They're almost back from their ACL injuries. It'll be very interesting when they get in. That's good depth. Trill Williams is someone that plenty of fans were high on, showed some stuff. Brandon Jones, we know what he can do. Now, on one-on-one drills, cornerback Cam Smith broke an intermediate pass from Tua to Dawood Davis, rookie Dawood Davis. I don't really put too much stock on it because it's one-on-one, and Dawood Davis is not going to be a starter in this league, is what Cam's going to face. But the good news is when they got into 11-on-11s, which is more of a realistic setting to evaluate, he was effective as well. And this is day 3. So my meter, I believe in the kid, but I got to see it. I got a little Missouri in me or whatever. So, but this is a good track up, especially now that Ramsey is down. And I forgot who it was, had a good comment. This kid's going to get his stripes, a lot of stripes now, and get, being on the job training in game time. So when Ramsey comes back, you're going to have that depth. So, now, safety Javon Holland had a breakup on back Tua to Berrios on a short route on one-on-one drills. I'm not big on one-on-one drills, but if you can get that short breakup on a guy that fast as Berrios, I like that. I'm not going to, write checks on it, but that was nice. But he later broke up another short pass to Berrios and Katako, who dislodged the ball with his hand, and they as they fell to the ground. So you're seeing all these guys in your secondary stepping up. And that's what you want to see. Guys are going, whoa, Ramsey's down. Even Noah's like, I got a chance now. Is a chance to make money. These guys are putting their hearts into it. They want to help their teammates and help their purse. Opportunities. And what we're seeing in the early going is guys taking advantage. And that's all you can ask. So that was great news. Now, on the TE front, Elijah Higgins was a guy a lot of people thought coming in, the receiver to the tight end. I said he's going to sit for a year and then, be developed. He dropped 2 catchable passes in practice on Thursday. He was a fish out of water for the second straight day. Didn't hear any reports today. If you guys ain't heard any reports, I'm not at the practices. I'm just trying to pastiche all the information here. But he's been slow going with Connor out. You'd want him to take advantage. That's what I had said in the lead up, and he's not. So I think he's kind of trending into that developmental kind of play. Now, Julian Hill, who he picked up on the 26th of July, some people were, excited about him. He had a slow day and a drop. I still didn't hear any reports about them today. So guys, if you were at the practices or you heard any information, pass on. But that's where we're at. That was as of yesterday, but it's news I just found tucked away in the corner of the internet stratosphere. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. Now, the other trend that I said the secondary is going to be fine. I still hold to the belief that this offensive line is going to be touch and go, and it's going to be the focus of the season. Same guy that was mentioned earlier, great guy, real smart, smarter than me. He says he's not concerned about the offensive line at all. He thinks they're going to be good, and he gave a bunch of reasons. He might be right. I hope he's right. I don't think so. I mean, I think it could be good enough for us to succeed, but to be good and, but if you look at the last couple of seasons, it's always the same. Offensive line gets dominated early and often, all the way up to preseason. And then people think, oh, well, just, training camp and they're going to dominate come season. It's the same problem. Now, this could change. Just like I said, no pads, but it was a 12-sack day today. Now, while I think there's going to be struggles with this offense, I don't think they're that bad. And their context is no Tehran still and no pads and there's no game plan and, play calling. The offense creates that initiative by attacking the defense through play calling, through game plan, through diversity of looks. That's not where they're at right now. So the offense is always going to be hamstrung. Edge is going to go to the defense. But still, if you go around the league and look at the teams with good offensive lines, more likely than not, 95% of them didn't have 12-sack days. So this is not a great sign, but let's get into it. Dolphins defense worked on their pressure and blitzes, and that's another thing. The defense was attacking and saying, we're going to stick it to you, and the offense kind of was, ho-hum vanilla. So there is mitigating circumstances, but still, that's not what you want to see. So blitzes on Fridays, third practice training camp, and the pass rush was all over the QBs, double-digit sacks for the team, led by 4 from Christian Wilkins. I think he's thinking about big payday. Let's hope that, let's hope it happens during the season, but boy, oh boy, if he has something like that in the regular season, man, he's going to be like a $50 million a year guy. And then 3 from Duke Riley. Wilkins was doing his usual chirping. You love it when he's on your team, but he's definitely not going to love it when he's playing against you. Duke Riley had 2 or 3 sacks. A couple of them, he was completely untouched, and that's just missed assignments. When you see stuff like that, that's a prime example that the defense was, we're going to get you today. We're attacking, and the offense, whoa. So you're not going to see stuff like that. Prayerfully. I think you didn't see stuff like that even in 2021. So this is clearly a aberration based on the differences of the situations between the offensive line and defense. But still, it's not great. Whether it was blown assignments or coverage sacks, Dolphins front 7 won a day. Offense looked out of sync. And then Omar Kelly, this wasn't an O-line issue. It was an everyone issue, play calling, QBs, TEs, wide receivers, and running backs. Everyone got their beep handed to them. And of this thing here, the running backs and tight ends, their ability to block is a critical factor. And I'm going to be really focusing on that as much as the O-line. I think when Tehran gets in and Connor and Hunt are working in tandem, I think those 3 guys with McDaniel's movement, the play calls, are going to be enough most of the time. But those tight ends, if you get one tight end who can block pretty well to free up more guys into routes, it's going to go a long way towards helping the protection, helping Tua, and getting this offense moving. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this tight end and running back situation. Now, in 11-on-11s, the quarterbacks were under constant pressure. We heard about that. Chubb had a big day. He's been like the big player of the week. You get the player of the week award or whatever it is. And not many passes were attempted downfield. They don't have the time. And that's the problem. What happens is when you lose that protection, you can't get vertical. But again, this is so early. We know that it's going to totally be different once the pads come on. Well, not totally, but it will be different, and certainly when the season comes. Dolphins ran a lot of blitzes, and those were largely responsible for the pass rush. So the blitzes generated much of the pass rush. And so you have to understand you got new parts coming in here. You're not calling stuff the way you usually do. And so we have to hold this with a grain of salt. But year after year at this stage, we kind of say the same thing. So we're really looking for a divergency from what we've seen in the past where, whoa, this offensive line protected really well today. The defense was struggling to get pressure. We haven't heard much of that in years. Now, this defense is more talented than the offensive line, so we have to understand that too. So that's where we're at with that. Now, the one last part is Austin Jackson. He's a guy coming off reconstructive surgery with a very history. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to be fine. He's going to do well. I think he could be salvageable for the season. But he was destroyed by Wilkins on one play, and the quarterback, throwing motion was interrupted. And that's not what I want to see for a guy who's had that history, who's going to be a key piece, who is expected to start. There's a lot of talk about a competition. People were raving about Lamb, a nice guy, but he's like 31, 32 years old, ninth year in the league. He's a good pass protector, but he struggles with power a little bit, and he struggles in the run game. I'm not going to believe that he's coming in to save us. Jackson is going to be a key piece, and I don't want to see him get physically manhandled because that is his MO. So let's see. That's a data point. Doesn't mean anything in itself and for a totality of evaluation, but it is a point. So let's continue to watch that. Now, last injuries, Ramsey obviously out. And again, we're 6 to 8 weeks is the least. It could be to December. He said we're going to have a great run at the end of the year. Some people say December. We'll see. Smarter people than me said once they go in there and they start cutting the things open, which is pretty creepy, then they find out what's really going on, then they'll have a better estimate. Cornerback Nick Needham was out. Tehran was out. Isaiah Wynn was out. And Tanakana was out. McDaniels said Phillips was stepped on during a second drill of Wednesday, so he's been babied along. No big deal. Now, the last little bit, the D-line. And what I said before training camp happened is we have some thinness on his defense. Not much, but a little bit. But that guy to play the 0 or the 1 technique over the center or to the side, big boy inside to help Raekwon Davis out is Brandon Piley or Piley. I still got to figure out how to pronounce that guy's name. And I said, if we can hear here and there that, whoa, this guy's a little hard to move, it's going to be a good sign. I really am hoping for this guy to be a player. And the report was he was trying to win a backup nose tackle spot, had a run stuff. And that's a nice data point. I want to see about 6 or 7 more of those. And I'm going to be excited. Really, this is good news for us, guys. This guy who's an undrafted undrafted free agent, UDFA, and he sticks. That is a nice find. But what's even nicer is I said that Raekwon Davis, with those long arms and what his physical prototype is, this gap and a half technique is really going to suit him with those long arms where he can ride and then he controls one gap and then monitors the second gap. And I really think this is strongly suited for his skill set. His knee is going to be an issue. We want to see him stay healthy through that. But I do believe that this is going to be the best scheme for him in his compromised position. I think he's going to be very effective. And it's the reports we hear from 2 places. Davis also continues to have a very strong camp against the run. And that's what we need. Him and Piley, both these are very, very good for us because when you got those 2 guys inside, that means you can put Sealer outside and Wilkins outside, give them breaks. This is so big for us. I am hoping this continues. So that's the roundup, guys. I do believe there is no reason for us not to be on schedule because Ramsey goes down. If we get off schedule and don't reach our goals, Ramsey is not the reason why it's not going to happen. This defense will be good enough. No, it might not be top number one in the league or top five but it's going to be good enough. The other areas is going to be what lets us down if it does. So anyway, day 3 was a good day for us. O-line still concerning, but it is way too early to write any judgments on that. Keep that data point. I will. All right, guys. Again, the subscribes, the likes, the comments, the views, all that stuff keeps me in business. Without it, Curtis goes and hits the streets, and he can't do what he loves to do. So I thank you for everything you guys do. Please keep it up. I'll catch you next time. Day 4 coming up. Goofins. Almost forgot. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.